Think back to being a kid. A single summer felt like it lasted forever. The school year stretched out like a desert. Just waiting for your birthday or Christmas morning felt like its own kind of torture. Like the days had somehow glued themselves together just to mess with you. And now, you blink and it's January again. You turn around and somehow another year has gone by. People you knew as babies are now taller than you. You catch yourself saying things like, wait, that was 5 years ago? But here's the strange part: a second is still a second, an hour is still an hour. The clock on your wall ticks at the exact same speed it did when you were seven. Time itself hasn't changed at all. So, why does it feel like somebody hit the fast forward button on our lives? Let's be clear about what we're actually feeling. Time isn't speeding up out there in the universe. The earth isn't spinning faster. Your watch isn't broken. What's changing is you, or more specifically, the way your brain measures the passing of time. Because your brain doesn't have a clock inside it, it has something much weirder: a feeling, a sense of how much time has gone by. And that sense can be stretched, squeezed, and completely fooled. Scientists have been chewing on this puzzle for over 100 years now, and they've come up with a few different answers. The fun part is they actually may all be true at once. Let's start with the simplest theory: the shrinking fraction. Imagine you're 1 year old. You've been alive for exactly 1 year. That means a single year is 100% of your entire life. It's everything you've ever known. Now imagine you're five. 1 year is now just 1/5 of your life, or 20%. And by the time you're 10, 1 year is only 10%. Now imagine you're 50. A single year is just 2% of everything you've ever experienced. A tiny sliver, a drop in a very big bucket. This theory goes back over 100 years ago to a French philosopher named Paul Janet, and it's beautifully simple. Each year of your life feels shorter than the last because each year is a smaller and smaller fraction of the whole thing. When you were five, that summer really did feel enormous because compared to the small amount of life you lived, it was enormous. But that same summer to a 40-year-old is just one of many. It barely registers. And here's the part that really messes with people. If this theory is true, it leads somewhere strange. Because your early years feel so much bigger, you may have already lived half your life, at least half of how it feels, before you even hit 10. So let's think about that. Not half your years, but half your felt, remembered, experienced life. Gone, before you even finished elementary school. It may sound a little freaky, but it's not the whole story. The math is clean, but it doesn't explain everything. So let's talk about memory. Think about all the firsts in your life: your first day of school, the first time you rode a bike without falling, your first kiss, or the first time you drove a car alone, gripping the wheel, afraid to lose control. When you were young, almost everything was a first. The world is brand new every single day. And when your brain encounters something new, it pays attention. It records hard. It lays down rich, detailed, vivid memories. So when you look back on your childhood, it feels long because it's absolutely packed with memories. There's so much stuff in there. Now try remembering last Tuesday. You probably can't. As you get older, life settles into a routine. Same commute, same job, same coffee, and the same drive home you've done 1,000 times. And when nothing is new, your brain basically stops bothering to record. Why save detailed files of something it's seen 100 times? So whole months can slide by, leaving almost no trace at all. And when you look back, there's nothing there. So it feels like no time passed. Scientists sometimes call this the holiday paradox. A week-long vacation in a new country flies by while you're living it, but after, in your memory, it feels huge because it's stuffed with new experiences. Meanwhile, a routine week at home feels normal in the moment, then vanishes completely the moment it's over. Novelty stretches time, and routine eats it. And as we get older, we just collect a lot more routine. Now, here's a stranger theory, one that comes more from physics than psychology. One scientist suggested that the reason has to do with how fast your brain actually processes the world. Think of your mind like a small camera. A child's brain takes images incredibly fast, lots of mental snapshots per second. More snapshots means more is happening inside any given moment. So time feels rich, full, and slow. But as you age, your brain gets bigger and more tangled. The pathways your signal travel get longer and more worn down. And so, the theory goes, you process fewer mental images per second. Fewer snapshots in the same amount of real time. Less seems to happen, and clock time appears to slip by faster. In other words, it's not that time is moving quicker, it's that you're running slower. Your own inner camera dropped its frame rate, and the world started to look like it's on fast forward. And then we have one more theory buried deeper in your brain chemistry. Your sense of time seems to be tied to a chemical called dopamine, the same stuff involved in pleasure, motivation, and reward. Dopamine seems to help run kind of an internal pacemaker, the thing that sets your subjective sense of time. And as we age, our brains tend to produce less of it. Some scientists think that as dopamine drips slower, your internal pacemaker slows down too. Your inner clock ticks lazily, while the real world keeps moving at full speed. And that gap between the two feels exactly like time accelerating. Think of a drummer that's been playing the same song for years, but suddenly can't keep up. Okay, so that seems like a lot of reasons your life is apparently evaporating. Cheerful stuff. But here's the good news. Look closely at all of those theories, and they're all pointing at the same way out. Every single one of them says time feels slow when life is new. New experiences, new places, new skills, new people. First, the brain wakes up, starts recording in high definition again, and time stretches back out like it did when you were a kid. So that routine that seems to make years fly by, you can break it on purpose. Take a different route home. Learn the thing you keep saying you'll learn. Travel somewhere you've never been. Talk to a stranger. Say yes to the weird invitation. Put down the phone and actually notice the afternoon you're standing in. You can't add more years to your life just by deciding to, but you might be able to make the years you get feel longer, fuller, slower, heavier with memory, simply by refusing to let them blur together. The people who say life flew by are often the ones who let it run on autopilot. Now, keep in mind, scientists still don't fully agree on which of these is the real answer. The shrinking fractions, the fading memories, the slowing brain, or the quiet dopamine. It's probably not one of them. It's probably all of them, tangled together, doing this to you at the same time. We may never figure out exactly why a childhood summer felt eternal and a grown up year feels like a long weekend. But we do know this: time isn't actually speeding up. It never was. It just rewards the people who keep doing new things and quietly punishes the ones who stop. So the next time a whole year disappears on you, take it as a gentle warning. Not that your life is running out faster, just that it might be time to go do something new that you've never done before.